Hello, and welcome. This is Eric. I'm the guy from Sorry Sauce. Been asked a couple of times this year already to do a walkthrough of the Garden of Apologies. So here it is. I'll walk you through the Garden of Apologies. And that's our fancy church behind us. Just a quick look down the road. Lovely. Anyway, here we go. Just swing around a little bit here. All right, we've got our non-pepper garden up at the front. These are just our regular household vegetables. Start with our chunk of corn here. Got some peas. That's a globe cauliflower. A globe cucumber. It's a ground cherry. That'd be kind of fun if we can get that to grow this year. Got some squash down here, butternut, pumpkins. We've got zucchini. We've got acorn squash. Got it spread around in here. There's a whole lot of weed in here as well, as most of this garden used to be lawn. So there's a lot of stuff here that we're still digging out. In places where you see the grass up around here and around the tree, that was recently lawn. And just with the scale and the scope of this garden, I'm weeding around the areas that we have the plants now. And areas like here, where I'm not actively planting, I've just let it go for the time being. And we'll hold that up once we get some plants in. That said, if you see the weeds we have down here, we had a bunch of tomatoes come up with the compost. I got a truckload of compost and appears to have had some tomato seeds. So anytime I can find weeds that are also tomatoes, we're just leaving them be. We're up over the front here. We've got some celery. I've got some cauliflower. Got some broccoli on the go here. This broccoli has gotten a bit ahead of us, but it's still delicious in flower form. That's some tasty stuff. Anyway, down over here we've got eggplant, a bit more eggplant down here, more stray tomatoes, unexpected tomatoes. Here's where we have our acorn squash, and now we step into our planned tomatoes. Where some of these, what kind do we start off with here? Park's Whopper. This is apparently a good slicing tomato for sandwiches. So we have these. These are Amish paste tomatoes that I found in a garden center in St. Jacob. They look cool to me. I look forward to seeing what an Amish paste tomato is going to produce. Got some sweet peppers up here. This guy needs a little bit of water. So I'll be back to do that after this video. More of our sweet bell peppers just for our household here. And back into some more tomatoes. Got a few cherry tomatoes here, and it's a nice weed that's jumped in here. Let me get that out here. A few different types of cherry tomatoes in here, different slicers. We've got some best boys, some early girls, some beefsteaks. This is where we get into our fuels of Roma tomatoes. That'll be a staple for our barbecue sauce. So expect to see some of this in the Mapalm this year. I'll jump over here. We've got a few more eggplant. Another basket of eggplant here, or another tray rather. A couple more cherry tomatoes that might get into the garden if I can find a spot for them. We've got our red onions. Got 2 pallet bins of garlic. A couple of tomatoes we've thrown in here with our carrot. A little more a red onion over here. My apologies. That's a bit I didn't finish, so it's falling apart. But as you see, we've done pretty well with the garden. I haven't needed that yet. And over behind the wheelbarrow there, you can see our other pallet compost bins. We've got mint and pineapple. Sounds like it'd make a good drink. And this is our mid garden over here. This area, when we bought the property, it was a dog pen. So the area in here, we're gradually letting take over with strawberries. So I seeded them up in a couple of the corners. You see they're spreading out quite nicely. So I'll keep weeding that until they've just dominated. I expect they'll end up choking out the other plants in there, and we'll just have ourselves a strawberry patch. But these are some specialty peppers I have up in here. Main ones, I've got a yellow ghost, red ghost, chocolate scorpion, and white ghost that I bought specifically to save the seeds and replenish my seed stock. These are 2 Manganji peppers here that I got from Claude at East York Peppers in a seed swap. So again, thank you very much, Claude. Just got some beans across the front here. It's a Butch T Reaper Scorpion. This guy here, labeled green. I've called it a green ghost. It's one I grew myself a couple of years ago. I had the plant labeled peach ghost, but it ended up coming up and ripening to an olive green. So I don't know what it cross-pollinated with, but I saved the seeds. I wasn't able to get much of a crop from it last year because the plants I had got wiped out in a windstorm. Also killed my reapers. But I've got 2 plants from a seed pod this year, so fingers crossed, we'll see what we can do with it. And back over here is our main garden of apologies. It's a little bigger than it was last year, and I've reclaimed more of the lawn into garden space. And just speaking of the lawn, grass is pretty long right now, but we have some toads who live out here, and I'd rather have toads than really the short grass. Maybe that's just me. Anyway, chunk of reapers here, just a bit of a walkthrough. Same as with the front garden. I'm keeping the weeds around where I've got the plants, and I'm leaving the walkways between the plant rows a little bit open with weed right now, just to minimize a bit of the workload. Reapers here, got scorpions coming up my left. Again, anytime I can find a weed that looks like it was seeded from last year's crop or last year's vegetables, like that's probably a cucumber based on where it was planted. I'm just trying to leave those in. So again, we've got some scorpions down here, marugas, apocalypse scorpions down here at the back left. It's a nice tall guy at the back. A couple of ghosts sprinkled in here and there. These are brain strains, chocolate brain strain, red brain strain, some more chocolate brain strain at the front here. I've got some bubblegum and chocolate bubblegum in at the back. These are more red bubblegums, more red bubblegums. And we get into some ghosts. Red ghost at the front. Got some yellow ghost here. Again, nice little weed tomato that's come up. Some chocolate ghost, and then into Bahamian goat. It's one of my all-time favorite peppers. Some chocolate habs here. Those habaneros are doing really well. Not all the peppers are doing well this year in the clay soil, but a few of them are just trucking through, and a few of them, I've got a few struggling little guys. Like, look at this guy. It's a yellow ghost. The plant looks like it's a month behind. A really rainy spring. So I just have my fingers crossed that we'll end up having an autumn like we had last year, where I'm still actively harvesting peppers into mid-October. Anyway, again, up my left here, we've got our chocolate habaneros, red habaneros, we've got some orange habaneros, because you never go wrong with a habanero. It's a good utility pepper. Guys I have sitting up in pots now are a recent stock I picked up at a garden center. They're a white hab. I grew them last year. I ended up fermenting some as well, and they came out very nicely. But my seeds didn't germinate for me this year. So I grabbed these on sale at a garden center at the end of this season, just as a way of replacing the seeds. I don't expect to get a whole bunch from them this late in the year, or this late in the summer. But these 2 rows I've got here are the ahi mango on the right, ahi limon on the left. Thanks again to Claude at East York Peppers East York Chilies for the ahi lemons. And then the last row I've got down here are some jalapenos, got some fatali, a few really strong looking stray tomatoes. Look at this guy here. I'm not going to pull that as a weed. And who knows, maybe free tomatoes. Then a few more fatali at the back. So there we have it. A bit of a walkthrough of this year's Garden of Apologies. We're looking forward to making some sauce for you. But mildly concerned about this year's season because, as I mentioned, a bunch of the plants are somewhere around a month behind based on the really rainy springtime we had. It took me longer than I wanted to be able to get stuff outside. But again, cross the fingers with me that we end up having the same kind of autumn we had last year and things keep harvesting right on through until Halloween. So this is the Garden of Apologies walkthrough. This is Eric. Thanks for watching the soy sauce video, and I'll catch you next time.